Hi Earthlings, how are y'all doing? I hope you're keeping well and safe. As for me, I'm okay. For all those who are new, hey girl, hey boy, hey man, hey lady, welcome to my channel. And if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, girl, man, woman, boy, girl, please hit that subscribe button. And so here I will be showing you how I crocheted my bubble infant blanket, which is a very soft blanket. And for you to crochet, you paramountly need a whole lot of patience, and you also need the tools that you need to crochet with. So you need the yarn, you need the hook, you need the scissors, you need the tape measure, you need the stitch markers, and you also need a darning needle. So here I started with the foundation chain, where I chained 150 chains, and then onto the next row is where I then chained another row, and when I was beginning, I added a stitch marker, a yellow stitch marker, so that I don't forget that first stitch as I proceed with the project. And so yeah, I marked it yellow, and then I went into the third row, and so on the third row is where I was going in with the name of this type of crochet stitch. I went in with a half double crochet on the back loop, and so this is what I'll repeat over and over again, 5 rows, and then I go in with a decorative style, which is the bubble style. And so I crochet 5 rows, half double crochets, and then on the 6th row I half double crochet 3 stitches in the back loops, and then I go in with what do I call it? I go in with half double crochet on both loops on the fourth stitch. So on the 4th stitch, so remember, on the first 3 stitches I used half double crochet on the back loop, but on the 4th stitch is where I put a half double crochet on both loops 4 times. So yarn over, pull through the yarn, and then pull through 2. You'll be remaining with 2 loops. Then yarn over, always pull through 2 every time for 4 times, and then the last time you'll pull through all the loops. Okay, yes, so that is what I repeated until the yarn was over. So this is what you'll see. I think this is quite satisfying to watch, and so I put it on time lapse. But let me tell you one thing, you need a whole lot of patience. And so as this goes through, as the video continues, please watch till the end. Let me know what you think about this type of videos. Let me know what you think about the final outcome. And yeah, and so just to keep you entertained, I'll tell you a story so that y'all don't get bored. So I'll talk about misogyny and how women are predisposed to misogyny. So I'm against misogyny definitely, because I'm a woman, and because I know women are capable of doing great things that are unfortunately downlooked by misogynistic men. And so I'll start by talking about misogyny and what misogyny is, just in case people do not know what misogyny is. Misogyny is a dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women. While it's often simplified as hating women, it's rarely that straightforward. In practice, misogyny is a system of social and psychological beliefs that functions to maintain a hierarchy where men hold primary power and women are kept in subordinate roles. That is so cruel and not supposed to be happening. So I'll tell you a story about a woman and a lady who were together but ended up breaking up because the lady was too sharp for this man. Yeah. And so I'll say it as a narration. So the ticking of the kitchen clock was the only sound in the apartment until Elias spoke. You look tired, Maya. You shouldn't have taken that extra shift. It's not graceful. Maya stopped mid-sip of her tea. She didn't look up from her laptop. It wasn't an extra shift, Elias. It was a strategy meeting for the quarterly launch I'm leading. Elias leaned against the door frame, crossing his arms. He was handsome in a way that felt curated. Sharp jawline, pressed shirt, an air of effortless authority. I just mean that a woman's nervous system wasn't built for that kind of stress. You're frying. It's my job to protect you from that, but you won't let me. To Elias, he wasn't cruel. He believed he was being traditional. In his mind, the world was a series of neat boxes. He viewed Maya as a delicate prize to be shielded, polished, and kept. And that is not wrong. Actually, men should shield women. They should keep their women, and they should always make sure that they are always polished. But that also depends on the on the angle they're approaching this situation from. He often spoke of biological imperatives and the natural order, phrases he'd picked up from podcasts that echoed his own insecurities back to him as profound truths. He loved Maya, or rather, he loved the idea of Maya, a version of her that stayed quiet during his monologues and deferred to his logic perspective. I don't need protection from a spreadsheet, Maya said, finally looking up. I need you to understand that my work is part of who I am. It's not a hobby I'm doing until you rescue me. Elias sighed, a sound of practiced patience. You're being emotional. Let's talk when you've calmed down. Imagine you're trying to express yourself, then this man says that you're being emotional. Unacceptable. The tension peaked 3 nights later at a dinner with Elias's colleagues. The table was filled with men who spoke in booming voices and wives who seemed to have mastered the art of the supportive nod. One of the men, a senior partner named Marcus, mentioned a complex merger. Maya, who had handled 3 such mergers in the last year, offered a concise, sharp analysis of the tax implications. The table went silent. Elias didn't look proud. He looked embarrassed. He placed a heavy hand on Maya's shoulder, a gesture that felt less like affection and more like a physical mute button. She's been reading my journals again, Elias chuckled to the group. He picks up the jargon, but she doesn't quite see the big picture. Anyway, Marcus, about the interest rate. Maya felt a cold shiver of clarity. He hadn't just dismissed her, he had rewritten her intelligence as his own. The car ride was silent until they pulled into the driveway. Why did you do that? Maya asked, her voice dangerously quiet. Do what? Elias replied, checking his reflection in the rear view mirror. I saved you from embarrassing yourself. You are talking over men who have 20 years of experience. It makes you look aggressive, Maya. It's not a good look on you. I have a master's degree in finance, Elias. I knew more than the merger, I knew more about that merger than anyone in that table, including you. Elias turned off the engine and looked at her. His expression was one of genuine pity. This is the problem with the modern world. They've convinced you that you need to compete. But a woman's power is in her influence, her softness. When you try to act like a man, you lose what makes you valuable. Maya realized then that Elias wasn't a puzzle she could solve with logic. He wasn't old-fashioned. He was a man who required her to be small so he could feel large. His love was a cage made of compliments about her femininity and concerns about her ambition. "I'm moving out," she said. Elias laughed, a short, sharp sound. "Where would you go? You can barely handle a long week at the office without getting a headache. You need me to keep your life balanced." "No," Maya said, opening the car door. "I need to be with someone who sees me as a person, not a category." The weeks that followed were difficult, but not for the reasons Elias had predicted. Maya didn't collapse under the stress of the world. Instead, the phantom weight on her shoulders, the constant need to temper her tone, to hide her wins, to perform grace, was gone. Elias sent flowers. He sent articles about the decline of the family unit. He left voicemails telling her he forgave her for her outburst. He truly believed that eventually the Cold War would break her, world would break her, and he truly believed that eventually the cold world would break her and she would come crawling back to the safety of his pedestal. He's still waiting. Maya, meanwhile, is no longer a prize in a box. She is a woman in a boardroom, a woman in the streets, a woman in her own life. And for the first time, she is breathing perfectly on her own. Guys, I would like to remind you that you are the star of your own show. Run your own show. Fire higher accordingly. Do not let anyone, not at all anyone, dim the shine of your star, right? Run your own show and shine brightest in your own show. Okay, let me know what you think about the story. What are your views on misogyny, the roles of women in the society? I'd love to know your view, because for me, I would not allow a man to dim my own light. For what reason? For what purpose? We only live once, so do not allow anyone, absolutely no one, to dim your light. Okay guys, so I'll cue music and then I'll hop on in at the end as the video is coming to an end, to just talk about the crochet project. But actually, let me just talk about it right now. This crochet project, the yarn finished in the middle, not in the middle, like I would have wanted more yarn to make a bigger blanket, but even with what I made, it's still okay because it's functional. It's a cloth that would be placed on a baby, on an infant. It's so soft and lightweight, and so I feel like it would be perfect for an infant. And so therefore, if you need me to crochet such a blanket for you, or a scarf with such a style, please let me know. Leave me a comment down below, right, and we can organize on that. Another thing I've remembered about this yarn, let me tell you, this yarn, hey, as I was going to finish, as the yarn was going to come to an end, let me tell you, the yarn tangled and tangled. It took me like an hour to detangle the yarn, So even before, I feel like before you start, you should be very mindful about how you untangle the yarn as you're going through the project. Yes, and so the blanket is so cute, the style is so cute. I'll definitely make more styles with this bubble stitch, which is absolutely very cute. I'm actually in the middle of crocheting a cute cardigan in this style. Unfortunately my yarn finished, and so guys, please remember to subscribe, comment, like, yeah, so that we can get monetized and buy more yarn, so that we can crochet more together, and so that we can engage in more stories together, right? I really enjoy doing this, so please do not forget to subscribe. Yeah, tell a friend to tell a friend to come hang out here and listen to intriguing stories. Yeah, and also find some satisfaction in learning how to crochet and seeing me complete a, like, I think this project is like, took me like maybe 6 hours to complete. However, I know there are crocheters that are faster, but for me it took me 7 hours. Anyway, comparison is a thief of joy. We'll get there when we are there, you know. And so yeah, I'm here to encourage you all to start. You know, this might be, they say hard work pays, and truly hard work does pay. You know, I've come to realize that with life. The moment you just get out under your parents' roof, it's up to you to work, you know, lest you'll sleep hungry, you know. And so guys, please support me, please subscribe, so that I can do more projects. You know, I really truly enjoy this. Yes guys, also you'll see me snacking, because crochet is interesting. However, you'll need to be patient, consistent, and persistent, you know. Otherwise, if you're not persistent, you'll never ever complete a project, you know. Especially the hard projects like cardigans. I mean, like, if you crochet for a while, you'll master it. And so I feel like no project will be hard for you. However, you really need some persistence, some consistency, some patience, some perseverance. You'll get hungry in the middle, you'll feel like giving up. Yeah, and that is not what we are here for. We do not give up. So here I was done with the project. I was just showing you how it looks. The texture is cute, the bubbles emerged beautiful, the color of the yarn is cute, and yeah, quite functional. As a blanket is a bit small, I could have used some more yarn. Yeah, subscribe and like, comment. Love you, bye.